You think darkness will save you? I was born in the dark, molded by it. I need new blinds. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ben Heck Hacks. Now this mask, Mark 1, is cool and all. Very satisfying to watch it open and close, but it's kind of bulky, over-designed, and heavy. It makes my ears hurt. So in this video, I'm going to make the next revision of this mask with an emphasis on making it simpler and lighter. Let's get started. It's time to get low tech. So I've got this weather stripping stuff that I guess has a nail in it for some reason. And I was thinking, well, I used this in the original mask, but what if I could also use it for low tech mask? So I've got all of this brass rod laying around. Now, there's a hole in this material and the 1/8 brass rod doesn't fit, but 16th or, well, 16th fits. Yeah, look at that. I don't know if this is enough to go around my face. I think it might be. It's like I'm loading like a Civil War rifle. Oh man, I really need a haircut. I better schedule one. Actually, my mom was a hairstylist before she, lost her job in the Great Recession. So anyway, when all of the salons were closed, I was like, hey Mom, I'm gonna come visit you. And she's like, oh, Ben's gonna visit me. And then I'm like, well, I'm here, give me a haircut. And then she's like, oh, is that all you came here for? But since my mom is old, I did wear a mask because, you know, she was in close proximity to me. Who needs computers when you have mirrors and fingers? I think you see what I'm getting at here, right? Ah! Ouch! Ugh! Make a wish. What's a story, Wishbone? What's that you're dreaming of? Such imagination from such a little pup. Key change. What's the story, Wishbone? Max and I had an idea for like a modern day spoof of like 90s edutainment programming. If you're interested in financing it, email me. It's called Math Lords. It would be all sorts of like 90s computers, mom jeans. Because, you know, 90s is the new 80s. So instead of doing all that fang-dangled computer crap, I can just manually shape this and then just make standalone linkages and then just plug the rods into them. Do you qualify for a CPAP machine? Call Medicare now. Get the new Hover-Round scooter from Medicare at no cost to you, except for all the Medicare taxes you paid your entire life. So the idea is it'll go. I guess the question is how much. Oh man, it has to go. You would have to go quite a ways out. Like that. 55 millimeters. 5th and Street. That's Mortytown. Jeez, 55 millimeters is a long ways to go. It's 4th and millimeters here at the Vikings. Oh wait, can't be the Vikings anymore. The Indigenous People of Northern Realms Dome. So, in the pursuit of elegance, I'm thinking about doing, I don't know if it's going to work, but a rotating rack and pinion. This is my simpler idea. So we have a linear rail with a trapped slide in it, and then we use everyone's favorite form of free energy, gravity, to pull the mast down. See? Flops down like that. And then if we put a rack and pinion here, we could actuate a gear and then pull this, I don't know, 60 millimeters back. Although we're going to be running into the limits of how far a servo can go. All right, so here we are in Fusion 360. I've got my rack and pinion here, so let's do this. Let's take a look at it from the side. See that the gear pretty much sits on this face, which is fine. Then what we'll do is we'll put the servo, we'll attach the servo based off the position of the gear. Alright, so let's just call that the gear. The gear has a 30 millimeter pitch diameter. So if we take 30 millimeters, multiply it by pi, gives 94. So if the gear rotated once, it would move at 94 millimeters. The servo can only do like 180, typically less. So we're looking at 47 millimeters, but that should be enough for our purposes, hopefully. And the gear's not perfectly aligned, but that doesn't matter. I mean, that's, you know, we obviously just assemble it in place. What do we say, 47 millimeters is our maximum distance. So let's take the actuator and let's move it 47 millimeters. Oh man, that's right up to the edge. Well, this should all stay pretty tight, I would think, because you'd have, yeah, you're going to be, the weight of the mass is going to pull this down, but then if it acts like a lever, this side's going to go up and it's going to compress against the gear. So, all right, I've got my servo box. Obviously, it's not final, but it's just for testing purposes. The main thing I'm looking for is how the gear engages. So let's take our gear, insert it onto the servo. Looks like it has proper clearance. Then I realize I probably should have put my rack in first. I mean, load it in from the back, it goes to the front, then it stops. So what we can do with the servo is, well, shoot. Take the servo to its extremity and load the gear in that position. So yeah, counterclockwise. And then bring it back. Yeah, all right. Oh yeah, and there's a limiter here, so that's all the further it can go. Yeah, assuming that's enough throw, that should work. Okay, I've got a test going here using a new, smaller rack and pinion. This was my old test. And I based this off of a 35 millimeter, what's that called, pitch diameter for the gear, and a rack and pinion. So if you imagine it, it'd be like this. Whoop. However, it's not going quite as far as I wanted it to. It's supposed to go like 50 millimeters, but it looks like it's only going about 42. Okay, so we're only getting 76% of our expected range, which means if we take 76 times 180, that means we're actually, is it really that bad? 136 degrees is all we're getting. The diameter of this is only 30 degrees. Did I accidentally import the old version? So I made a newer version of this with a 35 degree contact angle. Yeah, I think that's what I did. Because, I mean, if you look at the screw holes on top of the servo, yeah, it doesn't go quite 180, but it gets pretty close. I mean, it's definitely above 170, which was kind of my break even. We want to move 50 millimeters, all right? So we're going to assume we only get 170 degrees just to be safe. Gives us 94%. You know, all the math in the world is not going to help the fact that I imported the wrong gear into Fusion 360. Exported a gear again. All right, so the idea is we have 35 millimeter contact angle, so basically the diameter. If we multiply that by pi, gets us 109.9 millimeters of total rotation. Okay, so we divide that by 2. That's what 180 degrees would get us, 54.9. Then we take 170 divided by 180, so we're going to assume we do not have the total, rotation. So we're going to go 94%. So we'll take that times 0.94, gives us a total possible distance of 51.6 millimeters. We definitely want to make sure the thing can not really get past my nose, but past my chin. But at least I'm not Bruce Campbell. Oh, and I also imported each piece, so the rack and the pinion are 2 separate sketches, right? Where are you, servo? Come on. Dumb servo. Crow. Okay, so I guess this is mask mark 5? Run out of numbers pretty soon. Adele, what are you going to call your latest album? Oh, I don't know. How old am I this year? Alexa, how old is Adele?
Adele is 32 years old.
Oh, blimey, turns out I'm 32 years old. All right then, my new album, I'm gonna call it, wait for this, 32. Oh my gosh, she's such a genius. All right, so this plug is 5 millimeters deep, so that represents the space between the mounting point and the actual servo itself. So we don't actually need to draw the mounting hardware, the thing that the screws go in. We just need to know the relationship between it. Oh, let's just do this too while we're at it. Let's just make an extra copy of the gear. All right, so according to our, I guess, well, calculations, we can go 50. Let's just call it 50. Let's be really conservative. Let's just say 50 millimeters, right? So we take a look at our sketch here. Let's just measure out. Okay, so we want, one tooth for engagement. So what is that to that? 54 millimeters. Okay, so that's further than we'll even go. The places you'll go. All right, so we go 2 millimeters up and back. Okay, where's our? Oh, I guess I erased it. All right, that's fine. So let's take this and let's extrude it 4 millimeters, just like the gear. Okay, so we have these teeth, so we can do this. Let's inspect the distance. So we're going to go from that point to that point. That gives us 6.1 blah 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 millimeters. So we're going to copy that to the, what's it called? The buffer or the clipboard. All the Linux people are probably crying. Oh, Linux people always cry. All right, so and then we're going to go, we're going to tell it we want to do this by spacing and then give it a space of that much. Okay, so it's going to space them out for us. So if we increase the quantity, see how it just goes down the line? Yeah, so it's got extra teeth in either direction, but we want that because we want to have some plastic above and below this so it doesn't tilt, right? So if we took this all the way forward, there would be nothing behind it to, to help keep it in place. Create an enclosure around this, and that's what will hold the rack guide in place. I think this could work. I've simplified it a little bit. Here is the chamber in which it rests. Should be enough tolerance for it to work, although we have to take into account, 3D printer stuff. All right, so I'm going to print out those two pieces, make sure they interface correctly and they slide, and then I can continue my design. Let's see. Now I drew this in. This is what the mask will actually fit into. So the rod will go here, then we'll have our pivot point here. And this angle represents the mask dropping down, hopefully below my chin. Let's grab it and let's go -6 millimeters. Oh, that's right. That's a little further than that. Well, that's fine. All we need is 6. All right, we do that, and then what we can do is we can do a couple more operations to remove that. So let's extrude this. Let's go -4.5, like that. And obviously, -4.5 is 1.5 millimeters different. So this one will go -1.5, and then that should be pretty symmetrical. And then if we think about the point where this actually drops, so if it's this line here, instead of it being like, a hard drop off, we could have a little bit of a slant. And that would also mean that it would require less force for this to actually be pulled back in. Please go all the way. It feels so right being with you here tonight. Please go all the way. Just hold me close. Don't ever let me go. Bow, 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 bow. That looks good. Alexa, shuffle songs by Cream. All right, I've started to draw the shroud around the servo and also the action button below it this time. I'm printing out some more test parts, but here's what I have so far. I think what I'm going to do, the shroud is mostly cosmetic, although it is probably what the earpiece will attach to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out this rack guide. Then I can attach the servo directly to it. along with the you know, the actual actuator itself. So I can print all this up, actually attach the mask, and then put it up to my face, see how it fits, and then I can figure out how to attach it relative to my ears. I can get this assembled and test it on my face while the other parts are still printing. What's preventing that from going all the way back? It must be something back here. Give it some percussive maintenance, as you will. Got some more parts here. Here's the linear actuator with the portion that holds the mask. So as this goes back, the mask will be pulled level with the face and then tight against it. So let's move this to the outside position. So here's our gear. It has the servo plastics attached to it. Let's get the servo, actually let's pull this out. Let's get the servo to its extremity. Okay, it's there. Let's put that where it needs to go, and we'll put the gear into place. Actually, there's not too much slop as I try to move it. It's pretty good, because if the teeth, well, you know, if you print it at exact size, obviously, you know, the real world isn't like that, and the plastic expands and contracts. So that was causing the gear to bend kind of like that, right? But this is pretty good. So I'm going to just print copies of everything, and then, yeah, we should be pretty good. Oh, actually, here, let's make sure our favorite free energy friend, gravity, is doing what we want it to do. All right, so, all right. Well, obviously this mask is going to be like, kind of like that, right? All right, so let's go forward with it. And then it should drop down. Yeah, I might need to give that, yeah. Of course I wasn't, well, obviously it's supposed to be like this. Yeah, could use a little loosening up, but. So here's the unit from a top-down perspective. I have the, I guess not really a mandible anymore. I have the face ring here, and I've got it super glued into these linkages. This is the extended position, so when it's out, gravity will pull the mask down, and of course once we add some cloth, it'll pull it down even faster. Yeah, so just really simply, the servos will engage, and it'll pull the mask tight to the face. We should have a pretty good seal, probably better than a normal mask. And since it's going around my cheeks, my beard shouldn't affect it. Okay, let's take a look. So this is the retracted position. Yeah, it's got a really good seal on my face. But yeah, this is pretty much right over my ear. So I could probably, well, I'm trying to feel it here. Yeah, I could probably almost take something right here and go over the ear. Yeah, that works. I just got to figure out how to attach it to my ears. Okay, I clipped the shroud around the servo. That's where the action button's going to go. Let's put this in place. Now there's a mounting screw here and here. That's going to attach the shroud to the guide, but I don't think we really need to do that yet. This is the more critical part. So this is the gear cap. I guess the question is, can the gear still rotate underneath it? It doesn't want to rotate at all. What the heck? Oh, that's what the heck. Is that my old? No, this is the new one. Yeah, all right. All right, so here's my idea. I have a little hole there, and what I'm going to do is put in just a brass rod like that. And now this brass rod might be a little shorter. It might actually go into the rear aluminum part, but the idea is this will hang over my ear. For extra points, I'll put it on with my glasses. Flare it out a little bit there. Oh yeah. Well, you can see it better than I can right now. Yeah, seems pretty good. So what I'll probably do, I don't know if you can see this, but I'll take this part and I'll either loop it around up here into the metal band going around the back of my head, or above this. Of course, we have to make sure that this is, you know, remains exposed. All right, but I'll hold this against my head. Ow, got my hair caught in the left servo. That's why we got the caps. Yeah. It's maybe a bit higher than I wanted in relation to my face. I guess I could just, yeah, I guess I could bend the wire down, you know, at a different angle. Oh, so, yeah, I did go to the optometrist. And I still have another year. So I think I'm just going to let another year of scratches pile on these glasses and then replace the lenses. Because the little scratch that's there, honestly, I don't see it. It's below the bifocal line anyway. All right, here's the first shroud. Oh, it goes in like this, right? Okay, so let's put the guide rail in. Put it to the extended open position. Put the gear in place. All right, then we have a screw here and here to mount this. So I'll probably just, I think what I'll do is I will drill a hole. Yeah, it's gonna eyeball it. Yeah, right there. There we go. Happy little holes. Then once I insert the aluminum, I'll drill the hole again, and then this, I'll probably use a longer piece of wire. Anyway, that'll go through the aluminum, so that'll kill two birds with one stone. As you can see, this is a lot more simplified than my first version. Put a slight bend on this aluminum, and just have an open channel here at the bottom. Oh, I don't think I have to worry about that coming out. Oh, yeah. She'd be good. See, I just stuck the brass rod through and looped it around. I'll just cut it on the inside and no one will ever know, except for the people watching this video. This isn't really that bad. It's far more comfortable than the other one. Of course, I don't have the battery pack on yet, but that'll be in the back of my head, so that won't really affect, you know, the weight and feel of it. Yeah, I think I might have borked out this servo though. And this button's a little sticky. Yeah, I think the theory's sound. Yeah, I mean, I could just, you know, lounge around the house in this, like, who cares? So the nice thing is, with the aluminum in the back and the brass up here, it makes it pretty easy to adjust. The negative with that is, you know, if this isn't, you know, parallel to the rails, then it won't flop down via gravity. But I think I have it pretty good. So I noticed there was some footage that I filmed, but I forgot to put in the video. There were, here, look. I had a furnace filter, and I like quadruple, I think I know, I like 8, what's 8? Sextuple, that's 6. Sextuple plus 2'd up an air filter for each one of those fans, so there was a filter there. However, I don't know, I mean, I like the air coming in, but yeah, you're right, maybe air coming out. Maybe 2 fans with air coming in would be better. So the brain box. Originally I was thinking I would just lazily hack over the first one that I made, but maybe I could make it better because this thing is so light, I'm worried about weight in the back making it fall off. So I do have this thing. I got it at an airport a few years ago. Fuel rod. It's for charging cell phones. Quite obviously has an 18650 LiPo cell in it. But it's pretty straightforward. You charge it here and then you plug your phone in here. If you notice, what you can do is you buy one of these, but you can also drop it off in the kiosk and it'll give you a fresh one. So I'm guessing what happens is the metal contacts on the end are also used for charging, if I had to guess. But anyway, I thought it might be a good fit just in the back of here. I think this was like $20, so this is actually less than an Adafruit Power Boost 1000. So if I put it back here and I could maybe cap these off. Oh, you know what I could do? I could do a 3D printed part around here and then have it link up here.
That's why the airlines are so cautious about lipos in your checked bags. They don't want loose batteries shorting out and causing fires. It's also the same reason why the post office asks you if there are loose lipo batteries in your priority mail packages, because priority mail, a lot of it travels in the belly of passenger airlines. See that? It does weigh it down a little bit. And of course my furnace, or I'm sorry, my air conditioner kicks on. Air conditioner slash furnace. What I could do, there's a couple things I could do. I could readjust this, basically manually bend it lower, which is another good thing about just having a piece of wire. Or I could also change the drop angle. Although, well, I wouldn't have to reprint very much for that. Well, actually, this isn't. Let's see where it does feel higher. Yeah, that's almost getting to my glasses. But again, I could just manually bend this down. This fuel rod makes me feel like a Sam Raimi Spider-Man villain. Out, am I? I'll test it on myself. For some reason, I watched Spider-Man 3 on Hulu last night. Clearly, I had nothing else to do. You know, it's not the worst film, but... oh man, it's just so overloaded with crap. Nice. I might as well wrangle some wires while I wait for the 3D print. You know, speaking of Spider-Man, you ever notice Spider-Man 2? Of course, I mean real Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi one. It's kind of the same movie as Darkman, which is also a Sam Raimi film. It's like, oh, I'm a brilliant inventor. Oh no, a horrible accident has happened. I'm going to run away to an abandoned warehouse and start my experiments again. Yeah, so instead of like, what was the guy's name? Liam Neeson trying to like build a new face. You know, Doc Ock is trying to rebuild his free energy machine. The thing is, I mean, I love that movie. That's like my favorite superhero movie, but the science doesn't really make any sense. It's like, so what if you have a sun in the palm of your hand? Like, you can't just generate electricity from the sun, right? Like, to actually get electricity from that, you'd have to like put that under like a water turbine, right? It's like nuclear power. They don't use nuclear. The nuclear power itself doesn't create electricity. It's used to create heat, which is used to generate electricity. Anyway, this looks pretty cool, right? So the little brain box is gonna fit under here, and then I don't even have to look, I can just use the, I don't even have to clip the wire, see? They go right in. I'm still trying to decide if I want a fan or not. Oh, Back to the Future, same thing. Oh look, I have a rod of plutonium. So what? You can't just get energy. Well, I mean, you get energy from it, but you can't get electrical energy from a rod of plutonium. You get, once again, heat, which you then convert into electrical energy. So, okay, here's the thing that's gonna hold the Arduino, and ugh, it's way deeper than it needs to be. Well, still, it's not that big in the grand scheme of things. I can show you a project. It will be covered in hot glue. Subscribe to my channel. Who knew these things could be so cool? Could you imagine a William Shatner version of that Disney song? A whole new world. A new fantastic point of view. I'll take you anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you. You know, we like to make fun of William Shatner singing, but if you ever heard his album Has Been that he did with Ben Folds, it's actually really good. All right, I have it going really slow, but here's a test. Yeah, it's back and forward. And now this servo motor over here on the left sounded kind of crunchy anyway. I think it might be messed up. I mean, yeah, this thing isn't dialed in perfectly, but it should be working better than that. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that out. I snipped the nose thing off just to test it separately, and now it seems to be working. I think it was this cap here that was actually causing a problem. Well, you can't tell through editing, but I was gone for a while. I was trying to find some brass rods the same as what I put in this nose piece. I couldn't find anything, but I did find this 14 gauge galvanized wire. I guess, I'm not even sure what it's made out of. It's probably not steel. No, it is, well, it's got iron in it at least. Well, anyway, this was cheap and then got a bunch of it. I had to go to like 3 different hardware stores even to find this. And then also, there was a Goodwill near the hardware store. So I grabbed this too. I think it's like a TTY device for people who are deaf using the telephone. What was the last message on it? Help, I'm trapped. Is this thermal paper? Or is there a ribbon? Nice greasy ribbon. Nope, it's thermal paper. Ah, it's hardly any blood. It's good. So I'm going to take this galvanized wire and basically reform this piece based off of the headset and my face instead of just doing it with just my face. So it should be a more accurate piece. I'm reprinting some of the parts. I thought about kind of starting over again and using a continuous rotation servo, but I realized that would solve some issues, but it would also cause some issues as well. So my kind of like my half measure is the following. Well, first I have to find, oh, there it is. Okay, I found my 2mm bit, which I think is like the drill bit. That 2mm drill bit, I use it a lot, so I think it's gonna get dull fast. I might have to replace it, or can they sharpen bits? That's a thing, right? Bit sharpening. I just reprinted this because some of the holes were kind of getting worn out. Anyway, but I did change this piece, right? So I've reduced its length. So it's about it's exactly 6.5mm shorter. Because I realized was, if you want the mass to clear your chin, like the pivot point at where it drops also is a factor. So these are a little shorter. And then the other thing that I changed is I made this receiver for the rod longer, right? So originally it was 8mm. So now it's 16. And the reason I did that was so I have more play. So you don't have to put it in all the way, you just put it in as much as you need, right? And then the real key is I have a set screw now. So there's like a nut captured in there. And so once you have the rod or the face mask in the right distance, you just tighten up the set screw. And the advantage of that is I can use that to manually adjust the final fit around my face instead of having to rely on the interface of the rack and pinion. That's impossible, even for a computer. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16. So Luke Skywalker was an animal murderer. I guess the question is, are womp rats cute, right? If womp rats aren't cute, it's perfectly okay for Luke Skywalker to murder them. But if they are cute, like a porg, then you can't murder them. I could try disabling the servos, like using servo detach when they're not in motion. That way, in theory, the Arduino wouldn't be sending the pulse to it, and it shouldn't try to be doing anything. I mean, I would prefer this to be under my chin, so I can't do that. But, well, here we go. I'm so lame. I got Uber Eats McDonald's because my car's in the shop. One of the rear bearings went out. And you know, I love me my Ford Focus wagon. It's the last model year they ever made. Now everyone has crossover vehicles, which are just station wagons with a slightly higher wheelbase. The rear tailgate is angled forward, and the roof above the driver and passenger is slightly higher. Let's compare this to a modern crossover vehicle. It's the same thing. Sorry, soccer moms, it's true. You must accept the fact that they are just station wagons. I want to make the cloth mask part now. So I actually, check this out. I bought some thread and some needles. Anyway, regarding sewing, I think I might need to make a seam down the middle so it's not unseamly. Oh yeah, and I can't just go like that because I have to take well, not the circumference, but the outside of that into account. So maybe I cut this too short. Like I said, this is not my strong suit. I write the songs of love and special things. Dun, dun, dun. I write the songs that make the young girls cry. I write the songs, I write the songs. I was in Las Vegas last year, and we were gonna go see a show, and I wanted to see Barry Manilow, but the people I was with were like, no, let's go. So we went to see Penn and Teller. And they're really nice. We met them after the show. They just stand there and they meet everybody, right? And the weird thing is, Teller isn't really that short. He's probably like my height, which, isn't tall, but he just looks really short next to Penn Jillette. This isn't juggling. This is misdirection. I'm Penn Jillette. Take my master class. My impression of Penn Jillette sounds like the butler from Spider-Man 3. Harry, I waited 3 years and for you to get half of your face melted off before telling you this, but your father died of his own wounds. Sorry for ruining your friendship. I probably could have done this 2 movies ago, even. But no, I wanted to wait until your face was melted. Oh boy, I got the phone call that my car has been fixed. Home ec or shop class. Guess which one I took. And before you say anything, there were guys that took home ec. A friend of mine did. Actually, home ec seems important, because it's not, it's home economics, which I don't know. I'm not sure if young people are so into that. I mean, a lot of people might just say, oh, we don't have any money. It's like, do you? Or do you buy a new iPhone every year? So Felix kind of had a bad run of things after the show. I don't want to make everyone sad, but now he's driving around the country delivering pianos. So that's what he's been doing during these unprecedented times. Also, I need to trim my nails. Oh, my nails are getting long. Of course, I can use them to strip wires. Man, sewing is boring. I feel bad for frontiers people that had to do this on their way to Oregon on that trail. You lost all your sewing needles in the river. Looks like we're dead, family. Hopefully someone will write our names on this grave. Yeah, how did that work in Oregon Trail? When the last person was dead, and it was here lies pepperoni and cheese. Who buried the last person, right? That's what you have to figure out. And I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. Mortal Engines, now in theaters for 3 days. So I guess I got to figure out what goes down here. I wonder if I even really need that elastic strap. Maybe if I did some more sewing, even though I'm not very good at it, it's slow. If I could just have it have the mask just be kind of around my neck. Hot glue, needles, powerful agents against the uninitiated. But we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? We both studied under Liam Neeson at the League of Shadows. I am the League of Shadows. I stole a plane from Littlefinger. That guy from The Wire? And then I kidnapped a bombotologist. Does anyone in Gotham know more about bombs than you do? No, I am Gotham's leading expert on bombs. If there happened to be a bomb in the city, I am the person who could defuse it. In fact, I'm probably the only person who could defuse it. Good thing I'm still alive. You see, Gotham, I have taken from you your greatest bombotologist. Your city now belongs to me. I require to wear a mask in every movie I'm in. Mad Max, Fury Road, I have a mask on. Dunkirk, I wore a mask the entire time in the plane. Star Trek Nemesis, I don't want anyone to remember I was in that piece of crap. Where is the bomb? You think talking like someone who smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day will help you? Oh, I found some sewing tools in a box. I don't know if Karen bought them back during the show, but oh yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. There's like these pins and safety pins and all sorts of needles. So I guess I wasted like $3 buying more needles. Yeah, I thought about putting elastic along the bottom of this, but it makes a pretty good seal as is. And one of the problems with the elastic, I think the thinnest I have is like this, which is like 3/4 of an inch. And it makes it a little too bulky, and it stops the gravity drop from working. Although I kind of like how it's a triangle. It kind of makes me look like a bank robber. See? So it's pretty tight against the bottom of my... It kind of looks like... You know that guy in Star Wars, the original Star Wars? And he's like... He like tells the people where... It's like the scene in the Millennium Falcon. He's got like an elephant trunk or something. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. I remembered something. Like the bottom of it, I sewed it inside out, which should give a pretty good seam. Oh, this part, that doesn't really match, does it? Oops. This looks good. Kind of looks like a pocket or something, right? I guess I could rip out a few of these stitches and fix this. Because now it's just going to drive me nuts. I think this is working pretty well. Lastly, I'm going to add a little bit of weight just at the nose to help it, basically to help it drop down. I don't have any foam. Maybe I could go to Menards and get some. Maybe put some foam there. I could wear this to Menards. Okay, I added some foam around the bottom to give us a good seal on my chin. It's all charged up. So let's put this mask to the test in a variety of real-world situations. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. Well, I'm ready for my dental checkup. Hey, Mom, it's me, Ben.
My son?
One of them. Hey, see how my hair is really long? It probably
Yeah.
disgusts you, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, since you're good at giving haircuts, could I get a free haircut?
Well, of course, honey.
Oh, thank you. You're the best. I love you, Mom.
Yeah, wait, he just...
Oh, wait.
Wow, Mom, this is the best haircut ever.
Well, and say,
Thank you for the haircut.
you're welcome.
Wait, I got a hug before we go.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Yeah.
See, I can't breathe on you. Okay, that was Automatic Mask Mark II. I think it's a lot simpler and improved from the first mask. It's not as cool, but it works much better. The seal is actually quite good because I'm basically sealing my face off with weather stripping, just like you'd find on a window. Well, let me know what you think about this project in the comments below. Oh, and thanks to everyone who subscribed, because we actually passed 100,000 viewers last week. So I guess I'll get one of those play buttons. How do you actually, do you have to order it? Do you have to click on something like credit card rewards? I'm not sure. All right, well, I think I have something. Oh yeah, I have some consoles I need to repair, so I'll probably have some more videos in the near future, so stay tuned.